everyone. Welcome to today's episode of The Radium Girls. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Valerie.
Today we'll be covering the tragic story of Selena Quintanilla, who was known as the Queen of Tejano Music, who was a loved Latin recording artist that was tragically killed by the president of her fan club at the age of 23. So let's get into the story.
So I just want to say I have my Selena shirt on.
Reppin'.
Yes. Her face is over here, but you can't see it.
Her face is over here.
It's her whole body. But, you know. Okay. So Selena was born on April 16th, 1971 in Lake Jackson, Texas. Selena's father, Abraham Quintanilla, was a former musician. He managed and produced his family's group, Selena y los Dinos. Quintanilla Jr. noticed her musical abilities when she was 6 years old. He told People magazine, "Her timing, her pitch was perfect. I could see it from day one." In 1980, in Lake Jackson, Quintanilla Jr. opened his first Tex-Mex restaurant, Papagayos. I only know that because I've seen the movie. Where Selena, around the age of 10, became the lead singer in her family's band. Her siblings, Abraham III, was on bass guitar, and Suzette Quintanilla on drums would often perform. The following year, the restaurant was forced to close after a recession caused by the 1980s oil glut. The family declared bankruptcy and were evicted from their home. They settled in Corpus Christi, Texas. Quintanilla Jr. became the manager of the newly formed band Selena y los Dinos and began promoting it. They needed the money and played on street corners, weddings, quinceañeras, and fairs. Selena grew up speaking English, but her father taught her to sing in Spanish so she could resonate with the Latino community. She learned the lyrics phonetically at first and eventually learned to speak Spanish fluently. She began performing as a child. In the 1980s, she was often criticized and was refused bookings at venues across Texas for performing Tejano music, a male-dominated music genre.
As her popularity as a singer grew, the demands of Selena's performance and travel schedule began to interfere with her education. Her father took her out of school when she was in the 8th grade. Her teacher, Marilyn Greer, disapproved of Selena's musical career. She threatened to report Abraham Jr. to the Texas Board of Education, believing the conditions to which Selena was exposed were inappropriate for a girl her age. Abraham Jr. told Greer to mind her business. Other teachers expressed their concerns when they noticed how tired Selena appeared when she arrived at school. At 17, Selena earned a high school diploma from the American School of Correspondence in Chicago and was also accepted at Louisiana State University. She enrolled at Pacific Western University, taking up business administration as her major subject.
Go girl.
For real.
Yeah, I didn't know she, did, college stuff.
Yeah.
Well, where do you have time, girl?
All right. Abraham Jr. refurbished an old bus. He named it Big Bertha, and the family used it as their tour bus. In the first years of touring, the family sang for food and barely had enough money to pay for gasoline. To pay for gas. It's not us. We don't say gasoline.
It's gasolina.
Oh my god. That's hilarious.
If it's...
Yeah. In 1984, Selena recorded her first LP record. Selena... How do you say it?
Y los Dinos. Thought you saw the movie.
I did, but man, you know how long it's been?
Oh my god, you didn't do your research?
Okay. Selena y los Dinos for Freddie Records. Abraham Jr. believed Selena should record musical compositions related to their heritage. During the recording sessions for the album, Selena had to learn Spanish phonetically with guidance from her father. Selena was discovered by musician Rudy Trevino, founder of the Tejano Music Awards, where she won the Female Vocalist of the Year award in 1987 and for 9 consecutive years after. That's amazing. You go, girl.
Mm-hmm.
The band was often turned down by Texas music venues because of the members' ages and because Selena was their lead singer. Her father was often told by promoters that Selena would never be successful because she was a woman in a genre historically dominated by men.
Oh, well, guess what?
For real, little did they know.
Little did they know. Coca-Cola wanted Selena to become one of their spokespeople in Texas. The jingle used in her first 2 commercials for the company was composed by A.B. and Chris Perez, who had joined Selena y Los Dinos several months earlier as the band's new guitarist. Perez began having romantic feelings for Selena. They expressed their feelings for each other at a Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut?
A Pizza Hut restaurant, and shortly afterward became a couple. Perez and Selena hid their relationship, fearing Abraham Jr. would try to break it up. A registered nurse and fan named Yolanda Saldivar asked Abraham Jr. to start a fan club in San Antonio. Saldivar had the idea after she had attended one of Selena's concerts. Abraham Jr. approved of Saldivar's request. He believed the fan club would bring more exposure for the band. Saldivar soon became a close friend to Selena and the family. She was trusted and became the acting president of the fan club in 1991. That's when I was born.
Me too.
Yeah, baby, 1991. Selena's sister, Suzette, claimed to have caught Selena and Perez flirting with each other and immediately informed their father. Snitch! She's a... I'll kick you out of the band, girl. Abraham Jr. took Perez off the bus and told him his relationship with Selena was over. Selena and Perez continued their relationship despite Abraham Jr.'s disapproval. Selena's mother, Marcella, approved of their relationship. Abraham Jr. saw Selena and Perez romantically together on the bus after he informed them of his disapproval. He pulled over and an argument between Abraham Jr. and Selena ensued. He called Perez a cancer in my family and threatened to disband the group if they continued their relationship. Some serious stuff, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Selena and Perez relented. Abraham Jr. fired Perez from the band and prevented Selena from leaving with him. After his dismissal, Perez and Selena secretly continued their relationship. On the morning of April 2nd, 1992, Selena and Perez decided to elope, believing Abraham Jr. would never approve of their relationship. Selena thought Abraham Jr. would have to accept them if they were married and would not have to hide their feelings for each other. Within hours of their marriage, the media announced the couple's elopement. Word spread fast.
It did. Especially in 1992, dang.
Yeah, for real. Selena's family tried to find her. Abraham Jr. did not take the news well and alienated himself for some time. I bet.
Mm-hmm.
Bet that hurt.
Yeah.
Selena and Perez moved into an apartment in Corpus Christi. Abraham Jr. later approached Perez, apologized, accepted the marriage, and took Perez back into the band. A month after her elopement, Selena released her 3rd studio album in May of 1992. The album was critically acclaimed as her breakthrough album. The recording peaked at number 1 on the U.S. Billboard Regional Mexican Albums chart for 8 consecutive months. It was certified 10 times platinum by the RIAA for sales of 600,000 album equivalent units. While in Mexico, the album sold 385,000 units and became the first Tejano album by a female artist to sell over 300,000 copies. You go, girl.
Heck yeah.
Selena was booked for a high-profile border press tour in Monterrey, Mexico, with music media types in a meet-and-greet conference. The singer's Spanish was far from fluent. EMI Latin executives were terrified about the singer's limited Spanish during the press conference for the album in Mexico. According to Petoskey, Selena played her cards right during the conference and won over the Mexican media after newspapers hailed her as an artist of the people. The newspapers found her to be a refreshing change from Mexican telenovela actors who were fair-skinned, blonde-haired, and green-eyed.
That ain't no Mexican. That would be refreshing, dang.
I've seen fair-skinned, green-eyed Mexicans, but not the blonde hair.
Yeah, there you go. Fake.
Not naturally, yeah.
Yeah, not naturally. After her publicity press, Selena was booked to play at several concerts throughout Mexico, including a performance at Festival Acapulco in May 1993, which garnered her critical acclaim. Her performance in Nuevo León on September 17, 1993, was attended by 70,000 people, garnering her the title of the biggest Tejano act in Mexico.
Wow.
Yeah. She did it. She did it. Como La Flor helped Selena to dominate the Latin music charts and become immensely popular in Mexico, where Mexican Americans were generally not liked among citizens. which was well received by critics. They didn't like us. They didn't like us on there. The track was nominated for Song of the Year at the 1993 Tejano Music Awards. The single peaked at number 6 on the U.S. Billboard Top Latin Songs chart. In 1994, Entre a mi mundo.
Entre a mi mundo.
Entre a mi mundo.
Entre a mi mundo.
Ranked as the second best-selling regional Mexican album of all time. Selena briefly appeared opposite of Eric Estrada in a Mexican telenovela titled Dos Mujeres, Un Camino. Look, you guys, I don't speak Spanish, obviously.
That's funny.
In 1995, she entered negotiations to star in another telenovela produced by Emilio La Rosa. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She appeared in 2 episodes, which garnered record ratings for the series. Aside from music, in 1994, Selena began designing and manufacturing a line of clothing. She opened 2 boutiques called Selena, etc., one in Corpus Christi and the other in San Antonio. Both were equipped with in-house beauty salons. By the end of 1994, Selena, etc. had held 2 fashion shows to showcase their clothing line. Selena, alongside her band, held a concert after Selena, etc.'s second fashion show on December 3rd, 1994, at the Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio.
Yolanda managed both boutiques after the Abraham family were impressed with the way she managed the fan club. Selena was ranked among the 20th wealthiest Hispanic musicians who grossed the highest income in 93 and 94. Selena released her 4th studio album, Amor Prohibido, in 1994 of March. Shot. The recording debuted at number 3 on the U.S. Billboard Top Latin Albums chart and number 1 on the U.S. Billboard Regional Mexican Albums chart. After peaking at number 1 on the top Latin albums, the album remained in the top 5 for the rest of the year and into early 1995. Amor Prohibido became the second Tejano album to reach year-end sales of 500,000 copies. It became one of the best-selling Latin albums in the U.S. Amor Prohibido popularized Tejano music among a younger and wider audience than at any other time in the genre's history. The 2 singles, Amor Prohibido and No Me Quiere Más, were the most successful U.S. Latin singles of 94 and 95, respectively. The album's commercial success led to a Grammy nomination for Best Mexican American Album at the 37th Grammy Awards in 1995. It won Record of the Year at the 95 Tejano Music Awards and Regional Mexican Album of the Year at the 1995 Lo Nuestro Awards. After Amor Prohibido's release, Selena was considered bigger than Tejano itself and broke barriers in the Latin music world. She was called the Queen of Tejano Music by many media outlets. In late 1994, EMI chairman Charles Koppelman decided Selena had achieved her goals in the Spanish-speaking market. He wanted to promote her as an English-language solo pop artist. Selena continued touring while EMI began preparing the crossover album, engaging Grammy Award-winning composers. Sold-out concert at the Houston Astrodome in February 1995, work had already begun on her crossover album. In 1995, she made a cameo appearance in Don Juan DeMarco, which starred Marlon Brando, Johnny Depp, sorry, he's like, I love me some Johnny Depp, and Faye Dunaway. I'm kind of jealous now, of Selena and of Johnny Depp, that they got to see each other.
Right? That's crazy.
That is crazy. But I actually didn't know that about her, so that was pretty cool.
That she was in the movie? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't either.
I didn't even know she was in telenovelas.
Yeah, I didn't either. 8 months after Selena's family appointed Yolanda as manager of the boutiques, Selena signed her as her registered agent in San Antonio, Texas. After the agreement, Yolanda moved from San Antonio to Corpus Christi to be closer to Selena. In December 1994, the boutiques began to suffer after the number of staff from both stores had decreased. According to staff members, Yolanda often dismissed employees she disliked.
What a bitch.
Right? Damn. Employees at the stores regularly complained about Yolanda's behavior to Selena, who dismissed the claims, believing Yolanda would not negatively impose erratic decisions on Selena's fashion venture. Staff members at the boutiques felt that Yolanda was nice when Selena dropped in, but cruel when she was away. Martin Gomez, a designer hired to produce Selena's fashion line, said, "I told Selena I was scared of Yolanda. She wouldn't let me talk to Selena anymore. She was very possessive." Mm. As discontent escalated, employees reported to Selena that Yolanda was two-faced and unstable, but Selena took no action. Selena's girl.
What you doing, girl?
If there's several people complaining.
Red flags.
Yes. According to Abraham Jr., the staff later turned their attention to him and began informing him about Yolanda's behavior. Abraham Jr. took the claims seriously. He told Selena to be careful and said Yolanda might not be a good influence. He's very protective of his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She better watch out. Selena dismissed her father's inquiries because he had often distrusted people in the past. As you should, Selena.
Yeah.
By January 1995, Selena's fashion designer Martin Gomez, her cousin Deborah Ramirez, and clients had expressed their concerns over Yolanda's behavior and management skills. During an interview with Yolanda in 1995, reporters from the Dallas Morning News said her devotion to Selena bordered on obsession. That's terrifying.
She's crazy.
Man, another obsession.
According to Abraham Jr., in January of 1995, he began receiving telephone calls from fans who said they had paid for membership in the Selena fan club and had received nothing in return for it, and he began an investigation. Abraham Jr. discovered that Yolanda had embezzled more than $30,000 via forged checks from both the fan club and the boutiques. It's a lot of money. Abraham Jr. held a heated meeting with Selena and Suzette on the night of March 9th at Q Productions to confront Yolanda. Abraham Jr. presented Yolanda with the inconsistencies about the disappeared funds. Abraham Jr. told her that if she did not provide evidence that disproved his accusations, he would involve the local police. Yolanda denied any wrongdoing, arguing that she was in possession of documents that would exonerate her, though she failed to produce them. Abraham Jr. banned Yolanda from having any contact with Selena. However, Selena did not want to dissolve their friendship. She thought Yolanda was essential to the success of the clothing line in Mexico. Selena's.
So, there's so many red flags.
There's so many. Poor Selena just, wants to see the good in everybody.
I know. She really did.
So sad. Selena also wanted to keep her close because she had bank records, statements, and financial records necessary for tax preparation. On March 25th, 1995, shout out! 2 shots if you're drinking. That's 2 shots for her birthday. She turned 4 years old.
Aww.
I'm calling Val out on how old she is. Well, I'm the same age, so I can't really say much. So, on Val's birthday, Selena told her sister that she was planning to fire Yolanda soon. On March 30th, 1995, Yolanda called Selena to inform her that she was staying at a Days Inn motel near Corpus Christi International Airport, and she encouraged Selena to visit her to collect the promised documents and to come alone. Selena arrived instead with her husband, Chris Perez, and Yolanda failed to produce the documents. The following morning, Selena returned to the Days Inn motel alone, where she pressured Yolanda for the documents in a heated argument overheard by guests in neighboring rooms.
Begone, witch. Yolanda delayed handing over the bank statements and financial records by saying she had been physically and sexually assaulted in Mexico. Yolanda, along with Selena, appeared at the medical clinic on March 31st, 1995, to have Yolanda examined for an assault which she claimed happened to her in Monterey. During that visit, Yolanda was given a brief physical examination by the clinic's doctor, but this did not include a gynecological exam specifically done in cases of sexual assault. It was suggested by Nurse Carla Anthony Yolanda needed to have the sexual assault exam in San Antonio for 3 reasons. Yolanda was a resident of San Antonio, the clinic they were currently at was in Corpus Christi, and the assault occurred in Mexico.
I thought you could go anywhere with that, those kinds of things.
Yeah. She probably just didn't want to do it or something.
Yeah.
Oh, this was 19 whatever. 5?
Yeah.
Afterwards, Selena again met with Yolanda in her motel room at the Days Inn in Corpus Christi. At the motel, Selena demanded the financial papers. At 11:48 a.m., Yolanda got a .38 caliber gun from her purse and pointed it at Selena. As Selena attempted to flee, Yolanda shot her once on the right lower shoulder, severing the subclavian artery and causing a severe loss of blood. Critically wounded, Selena ran towards the lobby screaming, "Somebody help me," leaving a 392-foot-long trail of blood.
Golly.
She collapsed on the floor as the clerk called the emergency services, with Yolanda still chasing after her and calling her a bitch.
What a bitch.
I know! Before she lost consciousness, Selena named Yolanda as her assailant and gave the number of the room where she had been shot. Meanwhile, Yolanda attempted to leave in her pickup truck. She was, however, spotted by a responding police cruiser. Yolanda was locked in her pickup truck with the handgun pointed at her temple, crying, "I can't believe I killed my best friend." There's another person killing her best friend.
Yeah.
She was not your best friend, though.
No. You were obsessed.
Yes. She surrendered after a nearly 9.5-hour standoff with the police and the FBI. By that time, hundreds of fans had gathered at the scene. Many wept as police took Yolanda away.
That's so sad.
My girl. She was 23.
So young and so beautiful and so talented and like really creating something magical.
Yes, she changed the world.
She
changed the
did.
music, everything. She led a path for women.
Especially in the like
Yes.
Mexican-American culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sad. My aunt was a huge fan. She's passed away, but she's just like, yeah. Selena was always playing, and
Our girl.
I think she named her dog Selena.
Aw.
Yeah, it's a huge fan. So I just, yeah. I wish I was old enough to understand when it happened and stuff.
Yeah.
Too young. Selena was rushed to Memorial Medical Center, where doctors found her clinically brain dead upon arrival. Aw, poor Selena. The attending emergency room physician decided to attempt to revive her. Cardiologist Louis Elkins continued the treatment and performed surgery based on the emergency room physician's decision. Doctors were able to establish an erratic heartbeat long enough to transfer her to the trauma room. After 50 minutes of surgery, she was pronounced dead from blood loss and cardiac arrest at 1:05 p.m. An autopsy was performed the same day due to overwhelming media interest. It revealed that the bullet had entered Selena's upper right back near her shoulder blade, passed through her chest cavity, severed the right subclavian artery, and exited her right upper chest. Yolanda pleaded not guilty to the crime, claiming the shooting was accidental, but a jury convicted her of first-degree murder. Good.
Mm-hmm.
That's intentional. I watched something, maybe a TikTok, where it's this lawyer who is educating people on like jury stuff and like the way that they come up with their decisions and whatnot, and how there's first degree, second degree, third degree, manslaughter, involuntary, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was actually really interesting. I can't remember all of it. I do know first degree was like premeditated and intentional and all that stuff. Yeah. But that was really interesting. So maybe we can do let us know if you would like an episode on something like that, like the degrees of murder and stuff. Yeah. I would too. That'd be really cool. Maybe we'll just do it for us and y'all can just enjoy it if you want. You know? Yeah. She received the maximum sentence of life in prison with no potential for parole until March of 2025.
Shot.
That's like 3 extra shots. I think we've said like 3 other March dates, so another shot.
But different years. So.
I know. That's true. At the Mountain View unit in Gatesville, Texas, she spends 23 hours a day isolated in her 9-by-6 cell, where she is held in order to protect her from death threats levied by incarcerated Selena fans.
Get her.
Get her.
Get her.
In 2002, under a judge's order, the gun used to kill Selena was destroyed and the pieces were thrown into the Corpus Christi Bay. Fans and historians disapproved of the decision to destroy the gun, saying the event was historical and the gun should have been in a museum.
It's just almost like JFK. Like,
yeah.
They could have took the gun and like...
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Selena's murder sent shockwaves through the Tejano community, devastating her legions of fans in the United States and Mexico alike. All major U.S. television networks interrupted their programming to broadcast the breaking news, while Texas newspapers sold out in record numbers. Maria Aguirre, a television anchor who was then a receptionist at KQQK. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
A popular Tejano radio station in Houston, described how the switchboard was flooded with calls in the wake of Selena's death, with fans in disbelief that the news was true. It's almost like the feeling when John Lennon died, Aguirre said. She was the queen of Tejano.
I'm so sad.
That's so sad.
Like, why do people that are, like, obsessed with people kill the person they're obsessed with?
You're supposed to be obsessed with them, not, like...
Why
it doesn't make sense. I don't know. I guess, like, if nobody can have... If I can't have you, nobody can.
But then you can't have him either because of God. Oh, that's weird.
I think that's also why there's murder-suicides.
True.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just a little tidbit from my childhood. My mom said that, like, after she passed away, that I would say that she was dancing for Jesus.
Aww.
So Selena's dancing for Jesus.
Aww, she's dancing and singing.
Yeah.
What a sweet young Val.
I know. I loved Selena. Okay. That was my girl. Like, we're alike. We're both Mexican American. Didn't know how to speak Spanish. I still don't.
That's where you differ. That's where it starts to differ.
we separate. At a public viewing of Selena's casket, as many as 50,000 mourners converged on Corpus Christi's Bayfront Plaza Convention Center, traveling from as far as California and Mexico to drape the casket with thousands of white roses. On April 12, 1995, George W. Bush, the governor of Texas at the time, declared Selena's birthday, April 16th, as Selena Day in the state of Texas. That's Saturday, by the way, guys.
Yes.
Well, at the time of us publishing this video, if you're listening to this in 2023, it was Saturday last year. So everybody play Selena all day long that day.
Dance a little, play some Selenas,
Beady beady bum bum.
Yeah, anything for Selenas, okay?
Okay.
He said Selena represented the essence of South Texas culture. Selena Day remains an informal holiday celebrated by fans, though a bill has been introduced into the Texas legislature to codify it into a formal state holiday. The Quintanilla family continues to keep Selena's legacy alive. Suzette manages Q Productions, the entertainment company and studio where Selena once recorded music. Abraham Jr. and Selena's mother, Marcella, founded the Selena Foundation, which aids children in need and partners with local nonprofits to host events honoring Selena, like Fiesta de la Flor. Suzette and Abraham Jr. are listed as executive producers on Selena the series, with Netflix stating that the family is fully involved in the series. When Selena passed away, I told my family that I was going to try to keep her memory alive through her music, said Abraham Jr. in March 2020. So, that was the sad story of my beloved Selena. I kind of have another story.
Tell us.
Another Selena story. So me and two of my friends went to Corpus Christi to just it was after we graduated, just to hang out, I guess. And we found out, they had that museum still there. And so we went there and we were looking around, and then we see her dad. And we're like, oh my God, is our dad? They're like, we're going to go talk to him. I'm like, no, don't do it. I'm like, no, don't go talk. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to go talk to him. And so they walked up to him and they started talking to him, and he started talking to us and asked us what we wanted to do in college and stuff like that. And I don't know, we're just talking there for a little bit. And then he was like, why don't y'all come with me? And we're like, okay. So he took us upstairs, and upstairs is their recording studio. And their sister Suzette was there.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we talked to her too for a little bit. And then my friend Adela, shout out if you listen to this, I don't know. But they said that she looked like their cousin. She kind of looks like Suzette too, honestly.
Oh, wow.
She's she belongs in the family.
Oh.
But I don't know, that was so crazy. We got to meet them all and stuff like that. And they gave us a little walk around of upstairs. You could see the studio, and then they had kind of a balcony, and you could see over, and there was a stage and stuff.
But that was I got me a shirt. But you couldn't bring like phones in the museum, so.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
so you couldn't get a picture or nothing.
But
That's
I thought that
crazy.
was freaking crazy. I met like my childhood parent, well, sister and dad. So
yeah.
I was like, what? This is insane. Like,
were y'all like the only ones around? Why y'all? You know?
I think we might have been the only ones in there at the time. I don't know if there was anyone else in there when we went.
That's really cool.
Yeah, but like I think people have said before that he will like walk around sometimes and talk to you and stuff. But I was scared. I wouldn't have talked to him if it wasn't for them. I would have never had that experience. Like I don't like talking to like famous people. Like
yeah,
now,
it's not you.
I'm not about to have that rejection. So leave me alone. No, but he was really nice, and his sister was really nice. So I thought that was pretty freaking cool. Like I met her parents and her sister.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Like I can't even believe them alive at the same time.
Them alive at the same time?
Yeah. It's just crazy.
That is crazy.
I love how we're still keeping her alive. Even though it's been like 20-something years, probably. I think it has like over 20-something years. I think over 25.
Yeah.
But she was so young, 23. She had so much going for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I miss her. And I listen to Selena all the time.
Get out!
Hello. Do you miss Selena too? I know. It's sad, huh? It's sad. You got anything for Selena?
Shadow! Quit!
Don't touch Selena.
Don't touch Selena. I don't know. The movie, like, J-Lo did her just...
Mm-hmm.
There's no words. She did a very fantastic job. So if you haven't seen the movie, please watch it. I'm gonna have to watch it again. But I don't know. It's just, it's so sad. It's tragic. It's horrible that, you know, one of the closest people to you that you trusted kills you. I know. It's so terrible. It's just terrible.
Everyone would always say how nice Selena was and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then just, she trusted too easily.
Yeah. Don't trust everybody.
Don't do it.
Keep your guards up.
Especially if there's several people complaining about someone like that, then yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, ready to see what happens with her when if she gets bail or not, you know, in a couple of years.
Oh, yeah, because that's in 3 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll see March of 25.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy it all happened in March. Like,
it's crazy.
That's crazy.
Everything happens in March. What? But, yeah, if you go to the museum, they have a bunch of Selena's stuff over there that you can go to her grave. You can go to the boardwalk thing, and there's like a statue of her. Just go, like, fully engulf yourself in Selena.
Oh, let us know down below if you've been there. I'm curious if anybody else has had that experience and maybe they've seen Abraham Jr. or Suzette.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let us know. All right, so we have a question for today. Ironically, it's kind of related to the episode. Yeah, the music.
What was one of the most interesting concerts you've been to?
Do you have one?
I don't know about interesting one. Do you have one?
Yeah, it's pretty
interesting. Okay, you go
first. Okay. Okay, so red jumpsuit apparatus. Actually, I have two. Yeah, I got two. Okay. So red jumpsuit apparatus, Flyleaf, Hawthorne Heights, came to Tyler, and I got some tickets. So we got to see the first band. I don't remember who they were. And then we got to see Hawthorne Heights play. And then Flyleaf played. And then after Flyleaf was Red Jumpsuit. They were headlining.
Someone farted.
They gotta go.
Someone farted. Okay.
They're both right under you. So.
Jesus.
So the Red Jumpsuit was like the headliner band. So we're standing there. And we're pretty close to the stage. Like a good 6 feet back or whatever from the stage. So I was like, we got a good spot. It's standing room or whatever. and it wasn't like in a huge arena or nothing like this. It was a very small, like intimate type of concert anyways. It was in the Oil Palace.
Oh.
So if you know what I'm talking about, it was at the Oil Palace. If you don't know what I'm talking about, picture it like
it's like a small venue.
Yeah, I guess like they have circuses come there and stuff, so it's big enough to have a circus inside of it and concerts, but it's not like a big arena.
Like,
Anyways,
like a stadium or anything.
Yeah. So it was standing room or whatever. And so we're standing and we're waiting and we're waiting. And then I want to say somebody came out and said they were having some audio difficulties, like technical difficulties. And so we're like, okay, well, we're just waiting, still waiting. I don't know. We had been standing there for an hour. And then finally, like, I hear some commotion to the left of me and I look and I'm like, there's a group of people circling over there. What's going on over there? So like tell people I'm with and I'm like, come on, let's go see what's going on over here. So I go look and sure enough, the lead singer of the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus is standing in the center of this circle playing acoustic for everybody. So I'm like, fuck this. I like squeeze and I'm like 2 people behind him. And so I had an entire Red Jumpsuit Apparatus concert acoustic literally 3 feet in front of me.
Aww.
That was so amazing. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Very intimate, and the person we were, it was so good. It was so, man. And he had like, one of his, I guess his bass guitarist or electric guitar. They were sitting like on the stage playing. Of course it wasn't hooked up to nothing. So it was just, stringy music or whatever. But it was very, very cool. Never forget that. Like really good experience. And then, this girl we met just standing in line, standing there waiting, we made conversation with people, of course, but this one girl we met, there was this other girl that was with us, so she was like 10 years old. So this girl we met grabbed our 10-year-old with us, that was with us, and pulled her up to the front. She tapped on his shoulder and he turned around and he stopped playing and he's like, what? What's going on? And she's like, I'm so sorry. She's just a huge fan. Can you please just shake her hand? That's all we want. Just shake her hand. And he shook her hand and he was just like, can I get back to playing now? He was nice about it, but it was just kind of like, okay. And then after the concert, like I touched his arm and I was like, can I get a picture with you, please? And he was like, yeah, sure. So I took a picture with him and I'm like, so it was really freaking cool. Real cool. Interesting.
That's a good little story. I don't think I ever heard it.
No?
No.
Oh, I thought I told you that. Yeah, I got a hoodie. If I had a Sharpie, I would have had him sign the hoodie and never washed it. Like, yeah, that was really, really cool. Really cool experience. I can't remember what year that was.
Yeah.
2014, maybe? 13, 14, somewhere around there. Maybe 13 or 12. 2013
so that was
or 12.
when I moved to Phoenix.
So you just missed out.
Because I probably would have went. That would have been crazy.
If they were there.
That would have been crazy.
Man. Yeah, that would have been crazy. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you would have had the same experience. Mm-hmm. And you would have been like, yeah, I knew that girl. I saw that happen. Yeah. That was you? Yeah,
how
that was
crazy.
Us. Oh, yeah, and the Flyleaf. So this is after the original Flyleaf singer. So this is the new Flyleaf singer. Because they've gone through 2 now. That same girl that interrupted the concert for him to shake her hand earlier in the concert took our 10-year-old that was with us and like held her up, and the Flyleaf singer patted her on her head. Aww. She about died because she was there to see Flyleaf. The little girl was. So yeah, that was really cool.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm. Do you have an interesting?
Nothing like that.
I was gonna say I have another one if you haven't thought of something yet.
Go ahead.
Okay. My other interesting, so I was working as a massage therapist and I saw Skillet was coming to town. Did I tell you this story?
I don't think so.
So I saw Skillet was coming to town at the Oil Palace. I posted on Facebook the day before this event happened, or not the event, not the concert, but the day before what I'm about to say happened. So I posted on Facebook, like, I think it was my birthday week too. I was like, it's my birthday or something. It's from my birthday. Skillet's coming to town and I can't go to see them. Like I didn't have tickets and the timing just wasn't right. I think I had something to do. And so I posted that on Facebook. Well, the very next day I get a client and, he comes in and his name sounded very familiar to me. And I was just like, very familiar name, but I don't know who this is. It's just odd. We come across that sometimes as therapists. So I would start massaging him and he's talking to me, chatting up or whatever. And, he was talking about how he wanted to get a massage before his concert or his event. And I was like, oh, well, what brought you to Tyler? You know, what event could be bringing you to Tyler? Me not thinking anything about this. And then he's like, oh yeah, my band's going to play at this show or later in the week. And I was like, oh yeah, cool. I asked him, you know, like, what was your band name? What is your band's name or whatever? And he was like, oh, it's called Third Day. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And he was like, have you heard of them? And I was, have you heard of us? And I was like, yeah, I think I have. I'm not entirely sure, but I think I have. Like, I'm sure if I heard some of your music, I probably have. Mm-hmm. And so we're still like nonchalantly having a conversation, and then it gets quiet, and then I was like, it clicks in my head. I'm just like, wait a second, you're here to play with Skillet. And he was like, yeah, so yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. It was like, I wanted to go see y'all and Skillet. You know, I apologize because I felt really bad that I'm massaging the lead singer of a band. Yeah. And I'm like, you know, yeah, I wanted to go see the other band, but it was just really cool. He was so nice, like one of the nicest people I've ever seen. But he was like, I told him that. I was like, you will not believe this, but just yesterday I posted it on my Facebook that like Skillet's going to be in town and I want to go see them, and I'm not able to because I think I worked when it started. Like, I was getting off work when it started, so I was like, by the time I get there, it's going to be packed and I'm not going to find any space. It might be sold out. So I think that's why I wasn't going to be able to go. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I was just like, you know, oh man, that's so cool. Like, I could have seen you in concert, but yet here I am meeting you. Like, that's so freaking cool. And I explained to him too, like, you know, it wasn't that I hadn't listened to you, but I would have listened to you more after the fact. And he was like, oh yeah, cool. And so we finished this massage, and he comes out and he's talking to me, and he's like, you know what? Like, I'm going to give you the number to my, his assistant or whatever, and it'd be really cool if you could come up there and do chair massages. And I was like, I would totally do that. That would be cool. He was like, I'll give you 2 tickets if you come do chair massages for us. And I was like, 100% down. Yeah. Done deal. Let's do it. So, he gave me the 2 tickets, and, he was like, I'll have her call you or whatever. I never heard back from her. And it stressed me out. And I was like, cause I didn't know what to do. Yeah. She was supposed to tell me what to do. And so, she called me like the day of the concert, like that early afternoon, and I was like starting to sweat, you know, like, okay, she finally called. And so I mentioned to her, she said something about the tickets and that they'd be waiting for me. Oh yeah, that's right, he didn't give me the tickets yet. He said, you know, she'd call me. So that's why I was like, oh my god, I'm not gonna go. He's just saying that to be nice or something, you know. And I was like, okay, well, what about my chair? You know, would there be a place for me to set up? And she's like, what? He didn't tell her that I was coming to do chair massages. He just thought that I was giving her tickets, or he was giving me tickets. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, I can bring it. And she's like, it's up to you. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to follow through with what I said. And, you know, maybe they'll be like, oh, let's come on tour with us and you can do massages for us. Heck yeah. I didn't have Maddox at the time, so I would have been down if that would have been the case. I would have been like, yeah, I'm going on tour with these guys to do chair massages with them. Yeah. Anyway, so we get there and everything, get the tickets, go set up in the back, and they're hanging out back there, and I don't remember, it wasn't the lead singer, I think it was the drummer. So whoever's the drummer came up to me, and he was talking to me about the chair massages and asking me how much and stuff, and I was like, I'll do it for free. Like, I don't care. I'm just happy to be here. I was back, so we were kind of backstage, or beside the stage, which would have been backstage. So we had like a curtain. Nobody in the audience could see us. We had an exclusive view of the stage. It was on the side. Anyway, so he's talking to me about it all, and he was like, okay, well, you know, maybe I'll come back and get one. And they were about to go on stage not too long before this, and so he goes away, and we're just standing there. I'm like, this is just a cool experience, you know. Nobody else really talked to us, so we're just standing there. And so he comes back, and he's got $5, and he's like, can you give me like whatever this will get me? Aww. So I'm like, yeah. So I start massaging him, and I'm just gonna keep going until I feel like it's been long enough, you know, whatever. But I think somebody came and told him that it's time to go get ready or whatever. But he showed me a video. This was crazy. He showed me a video of a venue they had just played at a couple days before, and one of the ceiling tiles like from way the frick up there, fell and nearly missed him.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to say, like, it hit him, so that's why you need the massage.
No, that's what I'm saying. It did hit him.
Oh, you said nearly.
I know. I said nearly missed him.
That don't even make sense.
I know. That's why I'm like, I'm not understanding why I said it that way. Because it hit him. It hit him. But it, like, nearly missed him. So it barely hit him.
Just say barely hit him.
I know. I don't know why he said it like that, okay? But he showed us this video of the ceiling tile, like, barely hitting him. It, like, fell down and barely hit his head. And, like, you could hear it crash on the cymbal or whatever. And, like, I was like, this is, like, an intimate concert right now. Like, there was another band playing, but I didn't know who they were. And so they're up there playing. And he's over here showing me this video. And, like, I'm like, I know this guy. This is cool. Like, I know the band. I massage the lead singer, and here's this guy. Like, this is cool. So they ended up going or whatever, and I was like, go tell Skillet I'm here.
Right? Yeah.
Go tell Skillet I'm here.
That's what they need a massage.
Yes. But Skillet, I guess they were either late or whatever. They were running behind or something, so they didn't get a massage. But they did come by and shake my hand, and they signed my little poster thing that I had. So it was really freaking cool. Yeah. So we got to see the whole concert from, like, the side. So it wasn't from the front, and it was kind of from the side, but it was still really, like, so freaking cool. So that's my 2 concert interesting stories.
Those are really good. Mm-hmm. I don't got nothing like that. Yeah. I don't got nothing like that.
I have another one.
Jesus Christ!
But we're not putting this on the air. Did I told you about the time I smoked weed with the band?
Woohoo.
The Girls on Fire? Girl on Fire? They're not a band anymore.
I don't know if you... Wait, did you?
I didn't see, yeah. Because the guy, one of the guitarists was hitting on me and texting me right by Dustpan, and he rode in my car, and...
That sounds kind of familiar.
Because I was talking about it after I broke up with Dustpan, or the weekend I broke up with Dustpan, and
kind of sounds familiar.
So that was another cool story, but we're not telling that one.
No, we agree that.
Yeah. So Val, do you have anything?
No, nothing really cool. Like, I've been to, like, a lot of concerts and a lot of, like, small shows and stuff like that. I used to go, like, every freaking weekend.
It's a freaking weekend, baby. Having some fun.
Like Johnny Craig, I've met him a few times. He was in my friend's band. If you know him, if not, it's no big deal.
I don't know.
He was in, like, Dance Gavin Dance now, I think. But, you know, it's just one of those bands. Another one of those dudes signed my Converse, so I still have those Converse.
That's cool.
What? I forgot what band that was. You know, emo stuff. I don't have anything, like, crazy that's happened. Just been to a bunch of them and, you know, almost, like, died in the crowd because I'm so short.
I almost died in a crowd one time too. After
I can't breathe down there.
I got my appendix taken out and then went to a concert like 6 days later, and I was still healing. Yeah, ended up getting in the mosh pit where they're all like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I had to get out of there. My belly button started bleeding.
Oh Jesus, yeah. Girl,
it was crazy.
Fucking crazy.
I should not have been at the concert, but it was my birthday.
No.
Warped Tour.
Yeah, you could have stayed in the back.
Wanted to be up front.
Oh, God. Freaking Warped Tour.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen anything crazy happen? Or interesting happen? Like, to other people, or?
Well, went to go see, like, A Day to Remember and Weezer in Dallas, and you had to have, like, a band to get in to see Weezer. And so we were all standing by the gate, you know? And we were all trying to sneak in through the gate. And then just the dude in front of us was like, on a count of 3, we're all gonna run. So he, like, threw the gate and we all ran through.
Holy shit.
So we got to see Weezer up close. And Weezer was, like, one of my favorite ones because, like,
the security didn't even, like...
I think they might have tried, but so many of us went through.
Oh.
They couldn't catch us.
Wow.
But, yeah, Weezer was, like, one of the best shows I've been to, and there was people, like, just flashing, and they put it on screen.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
That was close, Colin. Just nothing really, like, crazy, I don't know.
We need to get you to some more concerts.
Some, like, big bands, I guess, because I mostly see, like, little bands.
Mm-hmm.
So... Nothing crazy.
That's still a pretty cool story, though.
dated a lot of dudes in bands, but small bands. That was my life as a teen. Just bands every Friday night. At the skating rink.
At the skating rink.
Well, it's called the skate park, so I was like, it used to be a skating rink, and then they turned it into a skate park. And then they turned it into a band. Then the hurricane took it, so.
Aww.
Yeah, that's my life.
Well, do you have any interesting concert stories? I'm really curious. So let us know. Drop a comment down below on our YouTube page. If you're listening solely to our podcast, you can head over to our YouTube, the Radium Girls Podcast. You can leave a comment there, or you can go to our Facebook page and drop a comment on one of our posts, maybe specifically this one, so we know what you're talking about. Or you can send us a Facebook message. Give us some questions that you'd like for us to answer and get our thoughts or opinion or experience on. If there's a topic that we have not covered and you'd like for us to cover, let us know. Same methods as before. Thank you for listening. We appreciate your support and your dedication to our channel. You have anything to add?
Happy Selena Day.
Happy Selena Day.
Go celebrate.
Yes. Go play Selena all day on Saturday, April 16th.
All week.
Yeah, the whole week.
Thanks for listening, and as always,
Stay curious.